Benjamin Franklin once said, "The bitterness of poor quality remains long after the sweetness of low price is forgotten." The fact is, quality matters. Join us as we make quality fun, interesting, and accessible to companies of all levels. Quality Matters is a must-listen for all things quality. Listen in, ask questions, and get back to doing what matters most. Quality Matters, brought to you by Texas Quality Assurance, where quality management gets simplified.
Is acting stupid, and I thought I had it fixed before we started recording, but I was wrong. Some love froze up there. Okay. So yes, I'm Kyle with Texas Quality Assurance, and this is sorry, I need to point that way because you're on the screen that people see that way, but on my screen you're on that side. Any case, only matters for those of you listening on YouTube. Yeah, it's weird, it's confusing. Any case, we are following up on our talk last week about, well, I say last week, for us it's 10 minutes. We do pre-record these. Sometimes we'll do them live, but because weird IT crap happens, I don't like going live because we don't get to redo if we need to. But we're following up on the culture discussion. So, Caleb, we have asserted ourselves as the world-renowned experts in quality culture by now, I'm certain, right?
Yeah. Seamlessly integrating culture and processes is what we specialize in, and we do it perfectly.
No, but this is one of the toughest ones, and I think this is why actual managers, like people on podcasts, we love talking culture. Again, it's a fun little drinking game. You take a shot every time someone says culture. Don't do it this time. You're going to be passed out on the floor dead. You're going to die. Oh, but no. So we want to talk about, what do you do about it? So last week we kind of brought up some good points. If you hadn't listened to it, you can check it out, but I think you should be able to follow along today. Otherwise, like if you're really struggling in your company, whether horrible audits, bad finances, late on stuff, but whatever, you got some big issues going on. Is it systemic? Meaning it's built into the system, the way your company is built and operates, your procedures, your best practices, things like that. Is this, could even be your company org chart, all sorts of stuff. Is this a systems issue? Is this a culture issue where maybe your system's built to run really slow and do things methodically and correctly, but you got a bunch of ADHD guys hopped up on a little bit too much caffeine and we're just running around like crazy squirrels? It's not going to work. Or is this a special cause issue? Maybe it's something as simple as a piece of equipment that you don't know is faulty and screwing up because maybe someone fixes it every time and never reports it. Or maybe you got a loudmouth in the shop that's riling everyone up and just causing everything to go crazy. Don't know. But your issue is one of the three things. It's either a systems issue, culture issue, or a special cause issue. I don't think there's another example. I guess maybe an act of God could be considered there. You get hit by a tornado, you get hit by a hurricane, crazy winds as strong as a tornado. That's been happening a lot lately.
So another thing that, and just kind of, I guess we could do a mini recap of last week was, we determined that first of all, you got to define, and you got to be very, very comfortable with what is it we do here, what are we good at, okay, and then you have your procedure that's modeled after that and supports that. You have to be correct in that, and then you have to model your system after that. And now you're using your system, you're gathering data, which is another important process, because you're not going to know about your people or your equipment or your system being bad unless you actually have data, NCRs, CAPAs, that kind of thing, to actually show you that something.
If you haven't already, you need to check out TQA Cloud QMS software. It might help you track all of this with some really cool reports that I call porn for quality managers. Go on.
There you go. So now we're at the point where we've discovered we've got problems. We've kind of pinned down what those problems are, whether it be with quality, whether it be with safety, and okay, what do we do about it?
Well, we can answer this in about 2 minutes, right? Because we're just the world-renowned experts here. Now, it's a tough problem. It's a tough problem to solve. Systems issues are where we all want to go. Again, I talk about dimming a whole lot because, like, father of modern quality management. you can't treat every issue like a systems issue. You can't. And I would argue that is a huge part of why politics in this country are so messed up, because everyone wants to treat it like a systems issue. Like if we just put another law on the books, we'll fix everything. And a lot of people do that in their shop as well. If we can just add another work instruction, if we can just make one more good revision to this procedure, fixed. We'll train you on it. Life's good.
Yep.
Don't work that way. Don't work that way unless it really is a systems issue. If it really is a systems issue, problem solved. But oftentimes it's one or the other or both, and both really sucks. So Caleb and I were talking before we recorded all this, and he's like, "Well, Kyle, are we really competent? I mean, I don't know if that's the word you use, but it's like, are we really qualified, competent to tell people how to fix their culture issues?" And thing I could tell Caleb was like, "Look, I'm not the expert on it. I mean, goodness knows. But what I can talk about is when I've done it before and I've seen other companies implement these same ideas in the past, and it works. I've never seen anyone attempt to do it this way and fail. So I can say that.
And there's all sorts of case studies and, stuff you can go look up and
So that's another thing too. None of this was just pulled out of my butt, right? This came from, gosh, I don't know how many countless hours reading, listening to audiobooks, listening to podcasts, case studies, conferences, talking to folks. I can't tell you how many countless hours have gone into this, and I'm still not an expert. So if you're having culture issues at your shop, don't beat yourself up. If you recognize it's a culture issue, you're already ahead of the game.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So when I was at my old company, I was the IT guy. This is how I got thrown into this fun world we're in today. I was the IT guy. I worked myself out of a job. And one day at a staff meeting, they said they had to repeat it 3 times. We need a technically minded person to head up a health and safety program. And finally, someone tapped me on the shoulder. He's like, "Kyle, wake up. He's talking about you."
Yeah.
Oh, huh? Me? Safety? Sure. What's OSHA? So this is where I was coming from. And man, it was tough. It was real tough. I think I talked on last episode, and I've talked about it before, how, I way overdid training those first couple of years. And Lord knows how many thousands of dollars we spent in training folks second and third time that didn't necessarily need to be trained a second and third time, I couldn't figure out how to talk to these guys and get them to understand that this stuff is important. And we really kind of flopped and floundered for the first couple of years trying to figure this stuff out. So what we ultimately did was a combination of a few things. First one was we realized very quickly that the safety culture I was trying to build, that management also wanted, didn't align with the production philosophy that we had. So production was all about get it in, get it out, and fast, do it right, do it on budget, do it on time. Like, we want to be the shop where our customers are blown away that we not only turned it around faster than the other guys could do the inspect and advise, but we got them a better quality product out the door. And that is what they wanted to be known for. And they did a damn good job at it too. Really, really good job at it. Problem is that fast-paced life, that don't align a lot of times with safety. So we really had some conflicts. So this is something we came up with. Now, this looks like one of these goofy, idealistic charts that folks throw up in meetings and podcasts and crap like that. And maybe it is, but it really freaking worked. And it aligned with our culture. And then when we made modifications to the system, they had to align with this. If our modifications didn't align with this, we're going the wrong way. Don't do it. So, real simple. Orange was safety, and blue was quality. That's funny. Here, let me throw this up. So that's
you got
the
like
same colors we now use today
for our audio listeners. It's like a 6-slice pie with half the crust is orange and half the crust is blue. So orange is the safety side, Blue is the what'd you say, production side?
Yep. And
Okay.
I just now realized, I guess I've always had a fondness for these colors. That's the same colors I use in our TQA Cloud logo.
Yeah. Looks good.
Okay. In any case. So yeah, the first one on the orange side is excellence in awareness. The next one is think. So, and the last one is others depend on you. And that makes sense. That makes total sense. Then on the production side, get it done right. If we didn't do it properly, if we didn't do it, now get it done right. That means following your work instructions, following your procedures, that only the trained, competent, qualified people are doing the work, right? So if you're not certified to do the work, you don't do the work. So get it done right. That's a lot of the piece of our quality management system right there. Get it done on time. All right. This means you're probably going to have to work some overtime. And Lord knows this shop, the culture was work a lot. You did not survive at ACT if you did not know how to put in a lot of hours. It's just how it was. And some guys thrive on it, others don't. And those that thrived on it stuck it out. And the last ones get it done on budget. But this all makes sense, right? So the first thing we care about is how good the product is. The second thing we care about is that it's on time. Because if it's perfect but late, no one cares. And if it's perfect and it's on time, but we're flat broke and can't make payroll, none of it matters. So we lined all this out really well. And I would argue that most companies could probably make a modified version of this to fit themselves. And then you go back to the safety side. Well, great. While we do all the work, doing it right, doing it on time, doing it on budget, we still have to have this in the back of our mind. And this was a big part of how we approached risk-based thinking, actually. So excellence and awareness. What's awareness? Well, awareness, I've told folks this many times when I've been kind of tasked with training a new safety manager. Some people have done a few times. And I tell the guys, if you are not on the shop floor at least 25% of your day, you're not doing your job. Like if you have an 8-hour day, bare freaking minimum, throw the cell phone in your office. Don't freaking take it with you. And go out on the shop floor, talk to the guys. That's it. Ask them what they're doing, double check their work, things like that. That's excellence in awareness. Regular toolbox talks, hugely, hugely helpful. All right. Think twice, act once. This is the next piece on it. And again, this was something we hammered into these guys. Every manager in the company had this by heart. All right. But the people we preached it to was not the supervisors. It was line level guys. So it's the guys on the top getting the mission, preaching it to the guys on the bottom. Think twice, act once. We don't want rework. If we have rework, we have problems. So this applies on the production side, but it also applies on the safety side. I went in there one day and a guy had a 10,000-pound ring segment lifted up on the gantry crane. And he's standing underneath it doing bolt inspections. And I'm like, buddy, you not only would die, like there wouldn't be enough of you left to bury if this fell. Like, you can't do this. He's like, well, I'm in a hurry. Yeah, I don't give a crap. Yeah. The amount of time you and I have sat here arguing about this, and I promise you, I'm going to make this take as long as possible. You could have gone and got several jack stands and put underneath this. So, you don't die if it falls. Yeah. And he's like, well, it's not going to fall. I'm like, maybe not.
Last words.
Yeah. I've never done an accident investigation where someone told me, Kyle, man, I should have listened to my instincts. I thought this was a bad idea before I did it.
Yeah.
Never has anyone ever said that. So think twice, act once. Yeah. Then the other one is others depend on you. Now, others depend on you. I would preach this from two different angles, and you got to get to know the person you're talking to know which one it is. So again, so much of the culture change is know your people, talk to them. If you don't know a name of someone's spouse or kid, you're not trying hard. And I don't care if you got 100 guys in the shop. That means you got to know the names of, at least 50 spouses and 50 kids. Like, you got to know something about these folks. In any case. Yeah. So I tell them others depend on you. Some guys, others depend on you meant you showed up to work. If you're out of work because you got injured doing something stupid, because we're not going to pay you if you got injured doing something stupid. Well, your wife, she don't work, does she? And you got 4 kids at home, right? That really suck. I don't think you want to do that to them. And how are you going to have that conversation? You're going to go home and say, honey, I got the next 2 weeks off work. And she's going to be all excited. Then you're going to say without pay. And the injury you had at work is now the least of your concerns.
Yeah.
That hits home with some people. Other guys, look, they're just cocky, arrogant. I get it. They're like, nothing happened to me. I don't care. I'm like, all right, it might not. But everyone else here, depends on you. I said, what if you get in a real bad accident? He's like, that's my problem if I get in an accident. So what? Yeah, fine. So what? So what? You don't care about yourself. That's cool. That's cool. You cannot care about yourself. I said, but what if OSHA shows up and they do a big ass investigation on us and they fine us a couple $100,000 to get the stupid thing you did?
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you think is going to happen to the guy on the wheel table next to you? Do you think the company can suffer that kind of loss all at once? Or do you think maybe we'll have to have some layoffs?
Yeah.
He's like, oh. And then that strikes home to some guys. And then if you have someone where neither angle strikes home, we have fun with them. So I'll tell you what, have fun with them means. So you brought this up before. I used to, I had this night shift supervisor that was just, he was my bane. So if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, he was totally my, Pippin to my Gandalf. But all right, yeah, I'm a geek. Okay. I couldn't stand him. He fought, bucked the problem everywhere you went. He didn't really care about anything but himself. And neither one of them worked. So I just, he wouldn't do anything that he could get fired over. He was really good at his job, so they wouldn't fire him anyways. That's a bad philosophy, but it's what it was. At least what it was then. After a few years, it changed. So I just decided I'm going to go see him every dang day. You're my best buddy. If I'm going in the shop, you better be guaranteed I'm going to find you. Second shift always started about 30 minutes before first shift ended. Mm-hmm. So I'd always be out in the shop come second shift time, and I'm checking on him. I'm talking to him. If I'd come up and do, because I was still a team manager, if I had to come up and do updates or reboots on the server, because I hated doing that stuff remotely. If you're an IT guy, rebooting a server remotely is like one of the most nerve-wracking things you can do. You're just pins and needles. Is it going to reboot? Is it going to reboot? Is it going to reboot? So I just go up there and do it. So sure enough, if it's 1 a.m., I'm rebooting a server, I'm down in the shop too. And he, through this, I wouldn't say picking, but just through this constant attention, he kind of started to come around. But you kind of have to have some folks you do that with. Some other ways that we put this into practice, let me throw the graphic back up there. So excellence in awareness. This is a huge one, huge one. I might argue this is the single most important piece. And if you're talking about, say, ISO 45001, occupational health and safety, the biggest component of 45001 outside of identification of legal requirements is engagement of your people. Employee participation and communication. That's crucial. So excellence and awareness. You as a leader, I don't care. I'm not talking to safety managers here. I'm talking to supervisors, safety managers, quality managers, operations managers, CFO. I don't care if you're the bean counter. You're doing this. You do not go out in the shop without talking to someone about the work they're doing. And in that, it's going to be awkward the first few times. You work into it something about safety. You work into it something about quality, even if it is cheesy. Yeah. If every single member of management does this once a day with one person, let's say you got 100 guys in the shop and 5 managers. After a week, you've talked to everyone. Every week, everyone gets a touch point. You're telling me that won't change culture. People, if all you ever do, if the only time your people hear from you is, let me throw the graphic back up here. If the only time you people ever hear from you is when you're over budget, you know what they're going to do? They're going to cut corners and make it cheaper. If every time you talk to them, it's because they're late, well, they're going to cut corners and do it faster. If every time you talk to them is it's not done right, well, they're going to massively load up on overtime and get it done right. So you got to preach it all. Same thing on the safety side. So awareness is key. Now, another huge part of awareness is like, well, how do we build awareness? The problem with awareness only, and I think we see this in politics and pop culture and everything as well. I don't know how many commercials and everything are out there for awareness for childhood cancer, awareness for autism, awareness for climate change, awareness for. It's great to a point, and then it causes more problems. So if all I ever do is preach awareness of safety issues in the shop and I end there, well, what do you think is going to happen? How do you think these people are going to start to behave if all you do is teach awareness?
They're just going to tune out.
Yeah, they're going to tune out. They don't care. It's just the same thing day in and day out. Or you're going to get a select few folks that now have enough knowledge and understanding to find every little thing we're doing wrong, and they start freaking out over it.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, they start calling OSHA and doing all this stuff. And so you can't end with awareness only. I might have learned that one the hard way as well. So the next piece to awareness is you've got to get people on board with fixing problems. But awareness is huge. You have to get awareness first, because if you can't have people ready to identify problems, how are you ever going to fix them? People love to identify problems, though. They want to bitch. They want to moan. They want to complain. They want to point out problems. It's kind of human nature.
Yeah.
So we put in place what we called a good catch card. Now, well, we actually called it something different. We had a little bit of a different system there. It went on to be something like a good catch card system later on, because actually, in any case, that's a whole other story. But we had a system very, very akin to the good catch card system. So I'll just go with that. And the way it works is you ask the guys in the shop, I want you to find a safety problem. Great topic for a toolbox talk. Find a safety problem in your immediate vicinity. You can tell everyone, take 5 minutes, go find me a safety problem, come back. It could be a production issue. It could be an anything issue, but find a problem, come back to me. And one guy comes back with, oh, the parking lot's too full. I can't find nowhere to park. All right, cool. Thanks. Now write it down. I'll give him a card. Give him a little index card. Write it down. Parking lot's too full. Can't find nowhere to park. Cool. Someone else comes up to me. There's like a bunch of electrical cables across the walkway here. I don't think they should be there. Great. Good. Write that down. I mean, you get them to do all these things. Then they ask you, well, what are you going to do about it? We've been talking about this stuff forever. We've told managers, I don't know how many times it's an issue. I'm having to park over in the grass. I got my car stuck the other day, but John had to go pull me out. I was like, we had to get the forklift to pull me out. And we used the rig, our lifting rigging equipment to pull me out because I didn't have any straps. I'm like, thanks for the info.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then I ask them, well, why don't you think anything's happened? Why isn't anyone fixing it? And like, legitimately, I'm concerned. I'm like, why aren't they fixing it? I mean, if you've told management, why ain't they fixed it? And they're like, I don't know. I was like, so you just tell problems to people and expect it to go away? I mean, management's not Santa Claus.
Yeah.
They're not Santa Claus. Like, you're smart enough to find the problem, ain't you? Yeah. Duh. I'm like, okay, well, what do you think should be done about it?
Yeah.
And like, huh? Well, that's not my job. It is today.
Yeah.
What do you think should be done? It's not my job to fix it. Nope. Maybe not. What do you think needs done? And we go around and around about this. And then finally I tell them, it's like, look, if you have a problem that you want to bring to me, do I work in the shop? No. Have you seen me weld? Got a couple of snickers because there's some guys there that had been there the day I tried welding. I was like, am I ever in the inspection bay? No. Okay. So who here between me and between you is more qualified to find the solution? Oh,
yeah.
Well, yeah, you're just the dumb office guy. Yeah, that's right. I'm just the dumb office guy. I'm just the computer geek. Now, you tell the computer geek what needs done.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then they do that and they turn in the cards. That's our first toolbox talk. Then I come back a week later and I hold up a couple of cards. Seriously, do it just like this. I'm telling you, it's going to work if you do it. Take a couple of cards and be like, hey guys, these two cards I'm holding in my hand right here. These are really good suggestions. I took all of this to management. Now we're looking at them all, so don't think that your card's getting ignored, but these two we thought we could do something about really quick, and you had a really good solution for it. Like, huh? So I read off what it was. I don't have a clue what it was anymore. I can't remember for the life of me. I was like, but we put it into action. We put your fix into place. Like, okay. And I was like, so here's a Whataburger gift card. Thank you. Like, huh? So I called a couple of the guys up. I was like, here's your Whataburger gift card because you made a good suggestion that we put into place. And they're like, yeah, of course, and everyone else is like all sorts of jealous over it. And I'm like, it's not the big, it's a freaking $10 gift card. Yeah. But to them, I mean, this is gold medal. Because they get to rub it in the face of everyone else.
Yeah. I mean, no.
And so I told them, I was like, problem. Yeah, I was like, do you want a gift card too? You want it? I was like, okay, cool. Well, there's 2 ways you'll get a gift card out of me. We're going to do this for a year. There's 2 ways you'll get a gift card out of me. I said, one is if in a week, everyone in the shop or everyone in your department, I'll do that. Everyone in your department, welders, welder helpers, inspection bay, machinist, if everyone in your department turns in a card with a suggestion of how to fix the problem and not some sarcastic bullcrap, right? This has to be HR friendly, realistic solution. If everyone turns that in, I'll give everyone a gift card that week. And if we put your fix into place, you get one too. Dude, you want to talk about overnight change in culture? I didn't get everyone. I got 80% of them, and that's all it takes. So 80% of the shop in a 2-week span of time went from bitching and moaning, complaining about things going wrong, doing stupid, shady stuff, to turning in more freaking cards than I can keep track of.
Yeah.
But they weren't just turning in cards to complain. They were solving problems for me.
Yeah.
Dude, that changed it. They had a say, they had a voice, and they realized that their voice wasn't for the hell of having a voice.
Yeah.
It was legitimate. I gave a crap about what they had to say. So if you as a manager can't do that, go away. Step down. Well, don't be in that role.
Well, and now you've got a plan also. And, you're, everybody's not just kind of wandering around all day, same day, different thing. It's now there's a plan, and now there's something everybody's kind of working towards, and everybody's a part of it.
And even better, this was how we got the supervisors involved on it. Is then the guys would come to me and like, man, why ain't we getting no gift cards? Like, as far as I know, y'all ain't turning in all the cards. I do it every week. I know you do. I see them every week, man. You got some good ideas, and come on, some of them you stretching a little bit, buddy. I was like, but I don't know who's not turning it in. That's not my business. I'm like, what? I'm like, that's your supervisor's business. Go there. Go talk to Brian. Go talk to Shaheen. Go talk to one of those guys. You tell him that you want your gift card and you ain't getting it, and let him root out who's not turning it in.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, now guess what? It's not my problem. It's the supervisor's problem.
Which it should be.
It should be. It so freaking should be.
Yeah.
But yeah, these things, they turn the culture around for us. And so as we're able to turn the culture, we were able to write the systems to go along with it. Yeah. So another piece we came up with, and this was another really critical piece in solving our safety culture issues and aligning it with the system, was our hazard assessment. So I don't know if I've ever really talked about this on the podcast or not. So we have what we call hazard assessments, very akin to a JSA. I tell people it's not necessarily a substitute for a JSA, but this is really more for a shop environment. And if you are a TQA Cloud subscriber, just go to your risk register, and then there's a report for running your hazard assessments. If you're not a TQA Cloud subscriber, you can totally do this on your own. I used to do it on an Excel spreadsheet, okay? You can do this on your own. Of course, TQA Cloud's only $100 a month for 3 users. That'd be a great option for you. Probably cheaper than making an Excel spreadsheet yourself. Just my thoughts. In any case, the hazard assessment, what you do is you take a specific work area, okay? And then you identify what are the hazards in the work area. Then you match them to a legal requirement. It takes a little bit of work, so worth it in the end. So let's take, I don't know, say we've got an abrasive blasting booth, okay? Abrasive blasting booth, one where you put your arms in and you got the gloves in there, right? So we got an abrasive blasting booth. What are the hazards in it? Well, first hazard is you could blast your hand away. So how are we going to handle that? Well, first of all, you get gloves that are made of a certain material that aren't going to erode away so fast. And 2, we probably just have to train people don't point the nozzle at your hand.
Yeah.
You'd think you don't need to tell people that, but you'd be wrong. All right. So those are 2 risks. All right. Then you can find the OSHA CFR that matches that for abrasive blasting. All right. So next big risk would be dust. Dust is a big issue. Okay. So when you identify dust, is there a legal requirement associated with dust? Cool. And what are you going to do about it? Then your hazard assessment lists all of these risks, lists what you do about it, and the legal requirements, and then the documentation at the bottom, like here's a procedure to go to, here's a work instruction, here's a work instruction. You want to talk about making toolbox talks easy? Gosh, I hated coming up with topics for toolbox talks because I did one every single day. Every single day I did a toolbox talk, and it's so hard to come up with new ideas after 2 years. And yeah, you recycle them, but you want to bring in new stuff. Dude, hazard assessment. When you don't know what to do, go grab that hazard assessment and show people. Do you know that this is here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that before. Do you know what it is? Yeah. This tells you all the stupid stuff not to do and tells you what to do instead. Here you go. Let's take a look at it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk right now. Hey, you see this stuff about OSHA over here? This 1910 blah, blah, blah. Like, that's the law. That's not Kyle. That's the law. That's what you have to do. That's what we'll get fined for if you don't do it. You see the guy standing next to you? You want him to have his job? Yeah. Okay. You follow what I say. Hazard assessments were the next big piece. And again, all of this aligns perfectly. Is we're continually making people aware, but it's not through big, organized, complex systems. It's just get your butt on the shop floor, talk to people like the people.
Yeah.
I mean, this is it. It's not terribly difficult, but it takes a lot of effort. The last piece that came in really, really helpful for me is the QHSE walkthrough. Now, I've got a template. There's all this stuff is for free on the website. So if you go to texasqa.com, free resources, the stuff's all up there for you to use. But you do the QHSE walkthrough. QHSE walkthrough is a really fun process. The first time you do it, it will take you a while because you're going to try to go too detailed, but you do it 4 or 5 times. Seriously, it's a 10-minute, 15-minute ordeal. And I challenge every member of leadership to do one a week. Just do one walkthrough a week. Pick on someone different. Unless you got that one person that really needs a little extra attention, right? So we'll give him a little extra attention. Make sure he knows that we're teaching him or we're watching him. But you're not writing him up. You're not doing anything, HR and friendly. You're just giving him a little additional safety training, a little additional safety awareness. If you are concerned that they might feel a little discriminated or anything like that on it, because, people jump to that stuff. You want to make certain you're not doing that, first of all. Like, why are you picking on him? Are you picking on him because of some other issue, or are you picking on him because he's just a goofball and a screw up and doesn't listen?
Yeah.
If that's the case, go ahead and write up a little bit of a letter to put in his employee file. Take it by HR and say, look, I'm going to give this guy additional safety instruction and awareness to encourage him to, do better. All right. So you write up something saying that. But you do the QHC walkthrough. And what it is, you pick on a single employee, and it's like a miniature audit. And we're going to ask them what project you're working on. Well, hey, there's project identification. All right. So, man, this is great start for identification, traceability type stuff. They need to know what job they're working on. Then you ask them, well, what step are you on? They're going to have some variation of a job traveler most of the time. I mean, even if you're in you've got a production line going, right? And there's not individual job travelers or work instructions. They can still point to the work instruction for that section of the assembly line. And you ask them, how do you know what to do? Then they should point to the step on the work scope. Now, this is a great chance for you to go, well, hey, this work scope, I see like a lot of this looks completed, but no one's initialed off on it that they finished it. Oh, yeah, we forget to do that sometimes. And literally, this is the most awkward thing, but it works. You say, all right, well, who forgot to sign off on that? Oh, that was Jimmy over there. Jimmy forgot to. He always forgets. Cool. Come over here. Let's talk to Jimmy. Huh? Well, I'm working on this. I know. Let's go talk to Jimmy. And be like, hey, Jimmy. Talking to Brian over here. Brian says that you finished this step? You finished it before you brought it to him? Yeah, I did it. Well, how do I know that? Well, I brought it to him. Your work scope don't say so. You got to fill out your work scope. You got to check it off. You got to initial it. Oh, well, what's the matter? That's the rule, buddy. It's how we know.
Yeah.
And then you do that. And you know what? Jimmy might not himself be encouraged to fill it out properly, but I guarantee you, Brian, every time he gets a work scope from Jimmy, is going to tell Jimmy to sign off on it.
Yeah.
So again, the whole point of the exercise is not just to beat up on a guy for screwing up, but how do we get these guys to enforce the rules for each other? That's the culture change without changing the system. Then the last piece of the walkthrough. Oh, and we'll ask a couple of questions on like, is there any measurement equipment you're using? Yeah. Great. Here's a perfect chance for me to say, well, grab the caliper you just took a measure with. Well, man, I can see daylight through there. Why the heck she uses caliper? It's crap. You got to redo this inspection, man. I got more paperwork to do now. Why'd you use this? Well, no. Well, don't do it. Go get another caliper. I'm going to give you an NCR. You fill it out right now, and you fill it out for me. Huh? It's not my job. It is today. You used caliper you wasn't supposed to use. I made it your job. Here you go. Fill it out. Go get you another one and give me this one. Okay, well, guess what? Next time he takes a measurement, he's going to check if daylight's in that thing.
Yeah.
And he's going to do it right. So again, you are encouraging people to do what is right for their own motivations and their own reasons. Once that happens for a while, those behaviors just become ingrained in how we do things. My oldest son was talking to me about this the other day. He read an interesting experiment. I've read it before as well. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's a cool story. He said you take 10 monkeys and you put them in a room and you get like maybe a stack of hay bales or something, and you put a banana on the top of the hay bales. And every time one of the monkeys sees a banana and goes for the banana, you squirt him with water. Doesn't hurt him, just annoys him. It's the same thing we're doing in safety culture. We're not hurting the guy. We're not writing them up. We're not threatening to fire him. We're just kind of being annoying. You spray the monkey with water. He gets annoyed with it. Guess what? After you spray 3 or 4 monkeys with water, they all kind of learn the lesson, and no monkey goes for the banana. Then you change one of the monkeys out with a fresh monkey. That monkey comes in. He goes for the banana. You spray him. Change out another monkey. He goes for it. You spray him. By the time you changed out the 3rd or 4th monkey, you quit spraying. And you know what happens? Those monkeys will attack each other and stop them because they don't want to get sprayed with water either. By the time you've exchanged all 10 monkeys are fighting each other saying, don't go get the banana.
Yeah.
But ain't one of them ever been sprayed.
Yeah.
You created a culture that people maintained on their own.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. You want to be able to replace all 10 monkeys with fresh monkeys, and they behave the same because it's just culture.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. So I guess maybe a quick recap. Definitely, I think I need to make this graphic available for folks. Like, this is good. You can change a little bit of the wording, but man, this is just so spot on awesome. All right. You got to have your mission. You got to know who you are and why you are that way. And anything you do has to support that mission, or don't do it.
Yeah.
Second one, you got to be on the shop floor. You got to talk to people like people. You know, people don't kill people in the workplace. Culture kills people. Right? No one just on it. I say no one. There's exceptions to the rule, right? But no one goes to work thinking, man, I'm just going to cause chaos and hell today and make it rough for everyone. Right? No one really thinks that. So culture kills people. People don't. So get to know your people. Learn them.
Yeah.
Reach awareness. Do your QHSC walkthroughs and do a good catch card system or a modified version of it. If you can do these 4 things, I promise you, your safety culture will turn around. In less than a year, you'll see a significant difference. And by 2 years, you're not even working in the same company anymore.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't know. That's my spiel. That's all I got. I'm out.
No, that was good. I mean, that's I can't think of anything else to add. I mean, I have seen culture changes. I've been in the position to see culture changes rather quickly. I've seen the power of upper management and, you know, a management team that actually cares about what they're preaching and practices what they're preaching and has a plan, and it just excites, especially whenever you have a shop that just everyone's just kind of a shell and floating along, and you're just kind of, but like as soon as you bring some spark in,
Mm-hmm.
you'd be surprised how quickly people take to that. They want
Mm-hmm.
something to be prideful about or happy about, or a goal to accomplish. Like, people want that sort of thing.
They do. But okay, so do people want to see the banner with the slogan on the wall? Does that encourage them? How about
Not solely.
a pizza party with a dude in a suit talking about stuff?
Yeah, not by itself.
What if we have a company newsletter that says this is important?
No, no, it takes action. I mean, you got to
Yeah,
have, and you got to
you
live
got
it
to put
yourself.
boots on the ground.
Yeah,
Get your lazy fat butt, I'm talking about myself, out in the shop. Go get sweaty. Go get dirty. Talk to these folks. Dude,
yeah,
let's say that's field work. Fan-freaking-tastic. Take a whole freaking day off. Fly out, drive out to wherever the heck in BFE these folks are, and go out there, bring them a bunch of Gatorades, bring them some gift cards so they can get something good to eat that evening, and, walk around, talk shop with them. I'm not saying go out there with the purpose of, I'm going to preach safety. No, go out there with the purpose of talking to the folks. And if you care about safety, you care about quality, it just should ooze out of your own conversation.
Yeah.
But if your heart ain't right, you can't do it. So, I mean, I guess maybe that's the first part is top management has to get the heart in the right spot. And if they can't get it, then maybe they need to work somewhere else, or they need to have a little come to Jesus moment. I don't know.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, that's the end of it that I got there. You got any parting thoughts for a wrap up?
No, I think that covers it.
Cool. All right. Well, same as always, if you like what we do, you want to support us, you want to see more of this content coming out, because I got to tell you, it takes time to do. It takes a lot of time for us to put this stuff together. That's probably why we're not always the best about getting it out every week. So we're trying to do better there. But if there's something you value, you want to see more of, like, subscribe, comment. I love to read the comments. I love to know what you think. So we are, of course, on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Audible, Stitcher, and others I don't know of. We were on Google until Google killed podcasts. But in any case, check it out. We'd love to hear from you. So y'all take care. Until next time, get back to doing work that matters most.